everybody, welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had an absolutely amazing trading day. We're going to do what we do each and every day on the Daily Market Commentary, take a look at a couple of key market opportunities. I typically like to do these in the mornings, but last night I didn't get it out until fairly late in the evening, so I figured I would wait again on today's video, since we didn't have a whole bunch of areas that hit based on last night's video. So I will take a look again in the morning and see if we're going to do one in the morning or if we do one tomorrow evening. So let's go and take a look. So getting into it, let's take a look at the S&P. For those of you new to the channel, we identify potential turning points in the markets. The thing to remember is we don't take the lines off the charts. We leave the lines on the charts to hold us accountable to potential trading opportunities. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first is the S&P. So the S&P levels that we had talked about last night, talked about this little bitty level here in the 15-minute time period as a potential reversal point. And this is exactly what we got. We've moved down about 10 points from that area. Actually wound up moving down about 20 points from the area. So for those of you that were able to catch that little ride, maybe you're still in that thing. Your opposing fair price value area was right about here. So it's kind of you may, if you're in this trade and you're profitable, it may be time to take some profits off the table and be okay with it, because this one did work out pretty well for us. What I'm going to do now is remove the lines, as that area is no longer going to be a valid short opportunity for me, and I will probably want to look a bit higher for my next available opportunity. And it wouldn't be until this area up here. Now, that being said, looking at a bigger time period, I want to kind of point this out. On the ES, on our bigger time period, and I use the 4-hour chart really as my bellwether time period chart. The ES, we see this pretty strong double bottom, but we have not come back up above the high right here on the 4-hour. I love the 4-hour time period for the ES. Now, I want to just look at this on the SPX, and I tweeted this out earlier today. The SPX, if you look at the actual SPX, which is certainly not going to have the overnight hours that the ES has, you can see a very strong reversal pattern candlestick today. We have lower swing highs and lower swing lows. So I am not convinced that this downward move is over until we get higher than this high. We got to get higher than this high for me to be convinced that this downward move is over. And so I'm playing still fairly cautious. Some of my longer-term investors and people that I talk to that are looking on a longer-term scale, if they got stopped out of the positions, I'm saying, listen, the market could go up from here, but I'd rather be safe than sorry if you're in, kind of those long-only style positions. It doesn't mean that I think the market's going to go down for a long time. Matter of fact, I think you've got a lot of really, really good opportunities further down here, especially when you look at it on say the monthly time period. I'd love to see us get a little bit more of a pullback to get us a chance to get long, but that's a little bit bigger scale. Going back to the actual ES, so some areas that we may find some interest in the ES would be just kind of we've got this area right up here above as our next kind of turning point potential right through here. There may be a level in here. If you find that on a 15-minute time period, there could be something available right through here. For those of you that are willing to get in on a short, right in that range there. So there's a number of potential turning points up here. I'm gonna leave this one on, but I'm actually gonna change this to a dashed line trade. And we're certainly going to change it to purple because we're on the smaller time period. So we always want to stick to that on the smaller time period because we've got a slightly degree of lower probability. Although today's worked out pretty well for about 20 points on the move for today's. It doesn't really look like 20 points, but because of the high volatility we've had this year or for these last few weeks, it certainly was that kind of a movement. So, if you are in that thing and you are you could still hold that thing and let it ride down. There's still room certainly for it to fall, and the 4-hour chart says that it might. Go into the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq, we are also kind of coming into that same area, which we identified as a potential reversal point. So the Nasdaq hit this area and then moved down. Now this one did move down to its fair price value area. So everything would say that you should have taken profits on this one if you did get short on this opportunity. So now I'm going to take this one and remove that area. So that trade worked out pretty well. So both of them worked out for a small time frame profit. You could possibly look at this area back down here if we do get a deeper pullback as a potential long, because there's a chance that we're just going to base for a little bit. There could be a little bit of basing kind of that shows itself over the course of the next few days. Crude oil continues its march lower. I did the video last night, and we had talked about a potential for the thing to go lower. Thought there may be a reversal coming off of here, however, didn't identify that as a tradable opportunity. What I would look for now is still kind of a short opportunity and a short trade. But I would take a look at a breakdown short. So if we're going to get short on this from where it is, I think that short would come in right at below this range, right in through here, right below this 59.23 area. Gold, solid gold. Gold is up above us. We've got an area up here that has not yet been touched. I'm going to leave this thing alone, although we're getting to a point where check the arrival before it gets there, as we may not get a strong enough arrival into there to make that worthwhile. Moving over to our 10-year Treasury note. So looking at our 10-year Treasury note, once again, this one's actually giving us a little bit of a pinch. And anytime I have these pinches, I'm aware that there could be some sort of a breakout that occurs. It's not a great, perfectly placed, pinch, if you will, but you sometimes will get a decent breakout run out of one of those two areas. So kind of keep that in mind. That could just take us to a reversal point, but there's no strong reversal points around here. You're better off trading, in my mind, trading some sort of a breakout. In the Aussie, we have a fair way to run before our opportunity comes in. In the Euro, we are much closer, so keep an eye on this area here in the Euro, as that area still remains stand pat. And then the Canadian dollar, we have this potential breakout above this area here. Price has not been able to get above that level yet, and so we'll still kind of hold fast on that. Last, certainly not least, Great British Pound. We're in between our two areas. And the Japanese yen. I haven't really found a bunch of areas in the Japanese yen recently, although we are really now just chopping along and basing sideways in the yen. Really not a whole lot of volatility in that one. I'm going to leave this one be yet again. Nothing in here for me majorly. Now, if I go to a 4-hour chart, you can see that we've got kind of a nice upward trend. But looking at that upward trend, the thing that I always pay attention to is we are definitely getting a little bit of, I'll call it a slowing of momentum as it's continued to go up, but my momentum is definitely giving me some weakness. Look at this MACD histogram kind of showing me some lower separation between my two moving average areas. So just keep in mind we may slow down a bit as we continue to march higher. Could, however, get a breakout, above this area here on the daily chart. There is that room there on a potential breakout long up above here, and that's still fairly far away back on that smaller time period. So with that being said, hope everybody had a great trading day. If there's something I can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Chuck at IIEfinancial.com. Send me an email, give me a call if there's anything I can do for you, and I would love to help you out. So thanks so much. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. See you.